How's it going, guys? Different format, different style of video I'm going to be doing today. Yes, I usually talk about hockey. Yes, I usually talk about the Montreal Canadiens, but I'm also a massive MMA and UFC fan. If you go down to the bottom of my channel, my first few videos I made, I was mixing it up between UFC and hockey, but hockey seemed to catch on more. But what I'd like to talk about right now, there is no hockey, there is no football, there is no basketball, but there will be UFC. Dana White is making sure that UFC 249 goes ahead. And as much as I am disappointed that Tony Ferguson and Khabib aren't going to be fighting, Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje is one hell of a fight. Those are two of the most entertaining fighters in the lightweight division. Those are two guys who throw down, and when they get into a fight, they usually don't even use their wrestling. They just want to scrap. We all know Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson have collegiate wrestling accolades. They can wrestle, but these guys are going to stand in front of each other, and they are going to go toe-to-toe. These are two fighters that move forward. There is no backstepping in their game. They move forward, and they throw. Tony Ferguson's defense is offense. If you're coming at him, if you're throwing everything you have at him, Tony Ferguson does not care. He will come at you with offense, he will dodge your shots, and he will nail you. You look at Justin Gaethje's last 5 fights, he beat Donald Cerrone, he beat Edson Barboza, he beat James Vick, and he lost to Dustin Poirier, and he lost to Eddie Alvarez. As for Tony Ferguson's last 5 fights, he beat Donald Cerrone, he beat, I can't remember who else he beat. He beat Donald Cerrone. He beat Kevin Lee. He beat Anthony Pettis. He beat Rafael Dos Anjos. And I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. Lando Venata was the other guy he beat, as you can see on your screen. Tony Ferguson's record is 25-3-0. He hasn't lost in the UFC since May 5th of 2012, where he lost a decision to Michael Johnson. He's on a 12-fight win streak. Justin Gaethje's record is 21-2-0. He hasn't lost in well over a year for sure, and he's on a 3-fight win streak where he KO'd all 3 of his opponents. These guys do have 3 similar opponents. They all fought Cerrone, Barboza, and Michael Johnson. As for Ferguson, he beat Cerrone with a second-round TKO doctor stoppage because Cerrone blew his nose, but Ferguson was whooping him that whole fight, but Cerrone blew his nose in the corner, his eye swelled up, and the doctor stopped it. Then he beat Edson Barboza with a second-round Darce choke in a fight where he was whooping Barboza as well, and he lost to Michael Johnson due to a decision, but this was many years ago when Michael Johnson was a far superior fighter to what Justin Gaethje fought. Justin Gaethje beat Michael Johnson with a round 2 KO in an absolutely awesome fight where they were going back and forth. He beat Cowboy with a round 1 KO. He smoked Cowboy, and he beat Edson Barboza in the first round with a round 1 KO. Now, the thing with Justin Gaethje is he pressures you, he pressures you, he pressures you. He wants to land that overhand right, and that's usually how he wins his fights, when he's fighting guys that go on the back foot and try and avoid that overhand right. And that's not Tony Ferguson. You are not going to pressure Tony Ferguson. You can pressure Tony Ferguson all you want. He will still keep coming at you. He will throw power. He will throw all kinds of unorthodox stuff. And if it did go to the ground, he will choke you out. He will dash choke you, triangle choke you, do whatever he has to do, which is why I am picking Tony Ferguson to knock Justin Gaethje out in the second round. That is my pick for this fight. Tony Ferguson KOs Gaethje in the second round. Let me know what you think, guys, and smash that subscribe button.